Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're going to be checking out Spellboost Runecraft. Spellboost Runecraft has barely changed, if at all. The only addition to this entire deck from the current expansion is Veracity Manifest, because Veracity Manifest is just an extremely solid card and you can't really go wrong including it in almost any deck. Very few decks don't want to take advantage of Veracity Manifest because the buff effect and the spell you get when both players are on 10 play points are just very powerful. Overall, though, otherwise, the deck has barely changed. So if you are already a Rune player and already invested into Runecraft, you have a pretty easy expansion because this deck is still insanely good and will handle a lot of the slower decks really well and can handle a lot of the faster decks pretty alright. So we are going to get right into it and check it out. We're going to start off with a Rune v Rune mirror.
Limit yourself to one dimension.
Rune v Rune doesn't really change too much when the decks haven't changed that much. It's really the only downside to Runecraft, but I want to make sure that I cover pretty much every craft, you know, for that first week. So this is just making sure I've covered all my bases. We have, I think this will be close. I think this will probably be the last craft I cover, based on the release schedule for the videos that I've got. Like, honestly, like, this deck just didn't really change. You're still doing the same thing. You're setting up some of these Earth Sigils for draw. You're setting up your spell boosts on your dimensional climbs so that you can either Cocytus or Kun lethal them in OTK formats, or you're just being hyper aggressive with some early cards to get them in a damage range where things like early Kun can potentially just kill them. So this is a weird deck too. Tablets of Tribulation is a weird choice to see in the Rune deck here. I guess it kind of makes sense, because you can kind of use these and then you can play the Cocytus. I kind of should mess around with a deck like this, but I think that'll end up being more of a meme than a serious deck. But hey, that could be a fun one to experiment with in the near future. Especially since most decks will only need small updates after, after this video is out. There's very few decks that are really going to probably pop up that'll be too different. Unfortunately, they were pretty much board locking me with these onions that I was summoning. It really did make this match a little more annoying, because I was like, I really need something that I can just ram these onions into. And they just kept killing their own stuff and not really giving me the choice to do that myself. It did mean I got a lot of spell boosts, but hey, I basically am board locked on Onioncraft at this point. There was just onions everywhere. Like, we just got 3 spell boosts off onions, like, doing basically nothing. Fortunately, this Anne and Greya kind of, you know, solved that problem a little bit, because they can't basically ram and kill their own Anne and Greya into any of this. So this is pretty much my opportunity to clean out my onions, which I'm more than fine with doing. And I'm going for my own Anne and Greya. And a nice Stormy Blast to take out the last bit. Trying to remember how I handled this, and I think all we did was ram the that one little onion, and then we ran the other onion to face, I think. Yeah. The other onion goes face, because we want the extra spell boost, because we already got declimb at nearly 0. And we're actually set with a pretty okay board that has to be kind of dealt with here. Unfortunately, still not having a way to deal with this onion means that Kun just is a little bit of a pain to use. I end up just going for as much spell boost as I can, hoping that they play stuff that I can actually ram into. It'd be awesome. Like I said, it was a very weird deck to go up against. Especially seeing Norman and stuff again too. But now I kind of have to deal with this, and this is kind of a nuisance to deal with. I have to take out their Norman card. And I unfortunately couldn't kill my own Anne and Greya, even though I really wanted to. So I decided to just commit to this. Go for the really big card here, throw a declimb to the board already, and see if I can get anything useful to deal with this 8-8. And unfortunately, we just don't hit anything that crazy. So I decided to just kind of take this out as best I can. And go for as much damage as I possibly can with this Veracity play. Unfortunately, my opponent wasn't on 10 play points yet, meaning we didn't get the extra spell. That would have been huge, but hey, I'll take it. It still wasn't bad. We ended up healing this, which is good. Kind of set ourselves up for hopefully the next turn. Which, I mean, they end up conceding, so they didn't have an answer to that. Next up, we're playing against some Havencraft. Obviously, Havencraft is a match that typically is in favor of Rune. Reasonably well. I feel like Rune just is still one of the top decks, at least from a competitive standpoint. And looking at the competitive players' like opinions on these decks as well, like this deck is still insanely strong. And probably won't fall out too easily, which means like if you did invest into Rune, you're in a really nice spot because you needed very little change to the deck to still be really viable as a competitive deck and climbing deck. Which is really good from that standpoint. Like if you're only a Rune player or exclusively like main Rune, you're in a really nice position. So we're not really doing too much here. Just kind of setting up whatever we kind of can against this, taking out things on their board, trying to get some damage in. But since we're not too concerned about playing super fast, we really just need to make sure our health stays reasonably high. And hope that they can't really force too much out themselves. Unfortunately, not getting an Enangrea and not getting anything spell boostable is also a little bit of a problem.
This starving world begs for me.
To the end.
I really would have loved to have had something spell boostable here.
Praise me more.
And we end up with 3 Kun, 2 Norman, and a Runecraft. It's kind of an insane hand when you think on it. I end up just committing to the Norman, going for the wards. Since they have barrier, they shouldn't be super easy to remove without using Chalice, so we should end up forcing a Chalice play in the best case scenario. Although they end up going for the Repose, so that's okay too. Especially since they only have 2 crests, which means it's only going to lock 2 things. Unfortunately, it is both our barrier golems, but hey, could have been worse. I end up just committing to another Norman play, this time going for the draw because both other options are literally going to do nothing for me here. And we do end up hitting both declimb, like pretty insanely here. So we do lose our wards, unfortunately, but we do at least have something on board. We have a triple Kun that we can kind of play around with, along with double declimb now that should get a pretty decent boost from the Kuns themselves. So I'm not too disappointed with how this hand's shaken out in the end. I think this is more than fine. We really just need to get these declimbs in kind of a playable range while hopefully maintaining our board state. Fortunately, losing Enangrea there does kind of suck though. The more unfortunate part here is we are forced into the Evo, and it's not really favorable on the way to take this out without losing all of our stuff. I could have done it a little bit better if I didn't have to use my draw to find Stormy Blast. If I had found Stormy Blast first. So I end up just trying to keep up as much as I can here. So we have a 6-6 and a 2-1. Unfortunately, I don't currently have a way to banish that, so we're kind of just going to have to deal with its wards that come out of it. Which, I mean, we do have some options. I mean, another Kun being the main one. So we get to take this down. We get to Stormy Blast one of these away and then just ram the 2-1s. Or actually, we could also use the spell there, but I do end up just ramming the 2-1s. Since we are getting our dimensional climbs within a pretty playable range pretty fast. Like, they're not going to be playable for turn 10, but they will be pretty close. Well, actually... Maybe they would have been if I did this correctly. I should have attacked with the 4-2, then I should have played the 0-3, attacked, and then I should have done this Kun play. Because that would have been a much stronger play. I also should have declimbed there, but we already played 3 Kuns, so I guess the point was I didn't need to. The other thing is, we're actually in a point where I'm actually not concerned at all. We have Runecraft, we have the dimensional climbs, we've already used 3 Kuns, so we're not going to be searching for it. So we can kind of just wait the turn out, play the Kakaitis, and try and get an Azeroth lethal instead. And even if we miss Azeroth lethal here, we're in a pretty nice spot. Which, I mean, this worked out perfectly, because this is also a lethal. So holding off was definitely the correct play. With more than enough damage to end the game. And last but not least, we're going to be playing against a Dragoncraft player. Dragoncraft still appears here and there. It's one of those decks. It's, you know, still reasonably popular. It's here and there. I feel like we've actually got a pretty varied ladder at the current moment. Like, there are definitely some decks that stand out more than others, but for the most part, I'm seeing a decent amount of variety from people, which is cool. So I end up trying to set up as much of this as we can. So we've actually got a pretty solid starting hand here. Like, double Foresight is nothing to sneeze at. And ended up being triple Foresight, which is crazy. We can hold off until next turn on that front. Unfortunately, it does mean we take a little bit of damage from this 2-2, but hey, I'll accept it. We got plenty of draw, plenty of setup, and plenty of things going our way. We're looking at a really nice Anangrea turn next turn, which should easily take this board out with very minimal damage to us. Although I do think an Onion Patch would have been a pretty good play there too, looking back on it. Because I could have Onion Patched this, I could have then Evo'd, attacked over the 3-5, and then I could have just killed the 2-2 with the Onions. Also would have been a really nice play. Would have gave us a very similar outcome as well. So they got some extra play points, they get their little Ocean Rider guy. We kind of have to deal with this now. It's not too much hassle, but hey. This time Onion does get to see the game. Since it will let us take out both of these Orcas, and then we can just go face for 6 damage. Getting our declimb as low as possible, as fast as possible, is going to be the core for what I want to do against this Dragon player.
Did we get a hit?
And I'm also really not worried about this Ocean thing and the wards, because we have that much removal and decent cards in hand to deal with that sort of thing that it really isn't a problem. They end up committing everything to wiping my board too, which is pretty good for me. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot going on here, so I do end up just healing 4 and looking for a draw. Should have drawn first, but didn't end up making a difference. Like I said, we're just kind of pushing our stuff down as we go. We're just kind of waiting our turn out. We don't need to do anything too serious here. Now, I think... Oh, yeah, I misplayed this, right? Yes. I should have boosted that first, then played it. I was like, I remember that this was a huge misplay, because I was meant to full clear off the spell. And I ended up just completely messing it up, because I hit it before I hit the Earth Sigil to boost it. Didn't end up mattering too much, because I was already in a pretty good spot to begin with, but it would have meant I didn't have to use as many cards as I did to deal with that board. Fortunately, Dimensional Climb is now at 5, which does put it in Kun playable range, since Kun itself will just boost the entire thing. But we're going to make it 0 anyway. We're going to get it as low as we can, as fast as we can, while dealing with this entire board. Unfortunately, this does mean next turn we have to pull next turn off without using an Evo point, ideally. Fortunately, they only have 3 cards left, and we do have stuff on board they have to deal with. And Tablet of Tribulations is an interesting one for me to see again here. Like, I kind of get why some people are running this card, but hey, it's an odd choice. That's for sure. So this fortunately works in our favor fairly well here. I end up just getting rid of the Onion for the spell boost, and then we can kind of just play the Norman, get our health back up, and hit him in the face for 2, get him a little bit closer to being lethal. And we have a Norman Dimensional Climb set up. We have a Ruler Cocytus as well. That's also another option to go for. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the Demonic low enough in time. And I do decide to go Cocytus anyway, since our board is pretty full here. So I take the chance to try and hit the Azeroth. Unfortunately, miss it again. Not a big deal. We can do a lot of damage here with Purgatory and set ourselves up for the next turn. We should have plenty of health to deal with whatever they end up doing. Especially once we heal off this spell. And we get to keep our Super Evo. Just in case we need to get rid of something else next turn. Which, I mean, worked out perfectly fine here. Burnight's really not a threat to what we're doing. I mean, even with a full clear on them, we just Demon of Purgatory and we win the game. Really no issue at all. And we even end up drawing Kun, which also would have won us the game. But Purgatory it was.
A journey of 1,000 miles.
So that does pretty much round out Spellboost Rune. Like I said, it barely changed. The main strategy is basically the same. The only addition is the Veracity Manifest, which gives you a little bit further lethal ranges and other potential with Sweetness of Veracity if you're just short on damage and things like that, which is kind of nice. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. You'll find the deck list in the description below. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Until next time, guys, I'll see you then.